Blessings, Starshine. This is Smadar from Song of Stones, and I'm here today to talk to you about this beautiful duet. What we have here is an amethyst, a celestial crystal, and it's a lovely amethyst crystal, and it's just got a really soft, almost like a waxy feel to it. And its partner is a Russian shift crystal. And I've been talking about the Russian shift crystals in my Sunday Sparkle newsletter, and I also wrote a blog about the shift crystals. And they are fascinating and powerfully transformative. And I'll just tell you a little bit about the shift crystal since we're talking about it. This one is a little bit different than the typical shift crystals. Usually a shift crystal will have what looks like almost saw marks in the crystal itself. This one is quite smooth. There's not the indentations that are left, the cut marks that are left when this crystal transforms. And what happens is that it grows together with calcite, and the calcite dissolves, leaving those marks, those saw marks in the crystal, and you get all kinds of really amazing formations. And I have all kinds of information about that on my website, so you can learn all about the shift crystals there. But this particular one doesn't have the physical markings. It still has the energetic qualities of the shift crystals. And this particular one has its own journey and its own medicine and magic together with the amethyst. And you could see how beautifully they fit together. I mean, they look like they were made for each other. It's really amazing when that happens. I've seen that happen so many times with crystals that come from different parts of the world and from different places and at different times, and somehow they end up together. Say what you want about the crystals being inanimate, I will argue with you 100% of the time. They have their ways of getting to where they want to get. And, that might be through me sometimes. They guide me to bringing them together somehow. And sometimes it's more magical than that, but we won't get into that right now. So this crystal duet has been here for years, and I've been wanting to share it with you for so long. I keep pulling it out and putting it at the forefront, and it just seems to not want to get listed or not want to be shown. And then suddenly, after these years, on the weekend, on Sunday, while I was doing my Sunday Sparkle, it suddenly wanted me to stop in the middle of what I was doing and share it on the website. And of course, it was a day that I really didn't have extra time to do extra things. It was already late, and I like to get my newsletter out earlier so that people can enjoy them on Sunday, but also because I have more energy earlier in the day to do a better job at sending it out to you. So, of course, I know not to argue with the universe, so I just went with the flow. And I put these crystals up on the website, and when I pulled them out, there was another crystal inside the box, and I'm going to show that to you. It's a citrine piece that just fits so beautifully in the center of the two crystals, as if it was meant to be there. And the funny thing is the name of this crystalline duet is Hitching or Ride to Heaven. And when I saw this crystal sitting in the center of these other two, it just immediately struck me that this crystal was doing just that. It was hitching a ride to heaven. It's so magical, just everything, the way the crystals orchestrate and the universe. It just blows my mind. And that alone was enough for me. That alone already impressed me. You could tell it doesn't really take a lot to impress me, because there's so much magic everywhere. But that on its own impressed me, and then I wanted to share this duet with you yesterday. But instead, the universe guided me to doing something else. And that was to share a card, actually a message from burdock, which is the plant that everybody is more familiar with as burrs. Everybody has heard of burrs. You might not associate the two together. I didn't. I didn't know the two were one until this summer, when every time I went out into the backyard, I came back with burrs on me. And I go out into the backyard often, and I want to tell you, my backyard is quite wild. I do take care of it, but I do also love to leave areas of just letting nature do what it does, letting it create, because every year it's something different. Every year it's something new that Gaia creates back there. So I pulled out the card, and I started the recording, and I started to tell people about my experience with the burrs, and started sharing about the message that burdock had from the Druid Oracle card deck, which is a gorgeous deck. And you can see the card in the recording. I couldn't record it on Instagram because Instagram wouldn't let me do it for some reason. It's kind of temperamental about uploading videos, at least my videos. So I do have the video on Facebook and YouTube, and I do have the card on Instagram. The picture of the card, I should say. So as I was reading the message, I got to the part where it talks about burrs and how burrs are spread by animals who brush up against them, or people like me who brush up against them and then, go along their merry way, dropping them in other places. And the way they described it is as the burrs hitching a ride. And I could not have planned that. It was just too magical. And the fact that I was taken from sharing the duet called Hitching a Ride to Heaven to talk to you about burdock, where the burrs hitch a ride on animals, You can't get clearer than that. The universe is really amazing at guiding us to these messages and making sure that we hear them if we're paying attention and if we trust. You know, it could have been easy for me to say, and there was a time in my life where I just was so stubborn, and it's like, no, I'm not going to get distracted from what I want to do. I'm going to share this message because this is what I want. I learned that if I just relaxed into the flow and trusted where I was being taken, that there was always a magical reason, always a purpose. And there was a purpose in sharing that card with you yesterday and waiting for today to talk about these guys. Aren't they gorgeous? I just, I started to wonder if part of the reason I kept them around was because I love them so much, and that's why I hadn't shared them on the website until now, but this makes me feel better because now I know there was such purpose for it, for these two to wait till now. To be seen, hitching a ride to heaven. So there may be more coming from these beautiful beings. Maybe there will be a crystal blessing coming from them. And if you don't know what those are, they are a mini meditation with the crystalline ones, kind of like a crystal mindfulness meditation. And it's wonderful because you get to go deeper into connection with the stone beings. Besides getting the gift of the blessing of the crystal in that moment, it also has the added benefit of helping you go deeper into trust, into self-trust, and deeper into the connection with the stone beings. And I highly encourage you to visit the IGTV or Facebook or YouTube, where I have a whole bunch of crystal blessings there that you can listen to whenever you want. And doing it on a regular basis really does make a difference. It really does help you deepen into that self-trust and that connection with the stone beings. And when you do that, there's no end to the magic that happens from that connection. So, and just to mention that on Facebook, you need to go to the private Crystal Blessings Facebook group in order to get to the crystal blessings, because that's where I offer them now. It's a more private place. It's a safer place. It's a more energetically harmonious place, as much as it can be on Facebook or on social media. So you're invited to join. Just there's links on Facebook and on my website and in the newsletters that I send out. And the best thing to do is to sign up for the newsletters, because then you'll get all the information every week. Plus you'll get beautiful little messages from the crystals and other uplifting content. We always try and keep it uplifting. So thank you for joining today and for listening. And I send you so much love. And the crystals send you so much love. And I hope you can feel that. And I'll see you next time.